Some people say that seeing is believing. Other people say that believing is seeing. But can you really believe without seeing? Hi guys, this is P. Mike here. Welcome to another small group Bible study video. Before we get started, I want to tell you that we are holding a contest. The details will be at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. This week we're continuing our series called Sightings, where we explore the stories of people who saw and met Jesus after he was risen. And today we're going to go over the story of the disciple Thomas. Today's passage is from John chapter 20, verses 24 to 29. Read it with me. Now Thomas, also known as Didymus, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and put my finger where the nails were, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe." A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here, see my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Thomas said to him, "My Lord and my God." Then Jesus told him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed." Have you ever had a Pics or it didn't happen moment? When a friend tells you this great story, but you can't believe it unless they have pictures? For a lot of us, we need proof in order to believe something. If you want something to be considered a fact, you must have solid evidence for that. Considering this, it's no wonder that Thomas reacted how he did. When the other disciples said that they met the risen Jesus when Thomas was not there, he couldn't believe it. He said, "Unless I put my fingers in the holes in Jesus' hands, in the hole in Jesus' side, I will not believe." Why? Because it's almost impossible to believe that a man who was brutally killed, nailed to a cross, would be alive and well 3 days later. It just was not possible. It's something that you really had to see before you could believe. Now, a week or so later, Jesus appears to the disciples again, and this time Thomas was with them. When Jesus sees Thomas, he shows him his hands and his side where he was pierced. And Thomas, immediately seeing Jesus, he falls to his knees and says, "My Lord and my God," acknowledging that finally he believes in the resurrection. But what Jesus says next is important. He says, "So you believe because you saw with your own eyes. Blessed are those who believe without seeing." Now, Jesus was not necessarily rebuking Thomas, but he was suggesting that even if it's a human nature to believe only after seeing, he's saying that it is even better to be able to believe without seeing. But how? How can you believe something without seeing proof? But if you think about it, sometimes people don't even believe when they have proof. If you don't want to believe something, people just ignore the facts and ignore the proof. And sometimes it's impossible to find proof of something that we inherently cannot see. We cannot see someone's love. We cannot see relationships. You can express your love, but that necessarily does not mean proof of love. If you jump off a cliff for someone, does that mean that you love someone? Does that prove it? It might or might not. Then how can we believe in something that we cannot see? How can we have hope and conviction of something that we cannot 100% guarantee will come? Now remember what Thomas said when he met the risen Jesus. He said, "My Lord and my God." Why did he say that? He was reminded of the relationship that he had with Jesus. He was reminded that that risen Lord, he was not just a random guy. He was his teacher. He was his master, the Messiah, the Son of God. And that is how we can believe without seeing. It is because of the relationship that we have with Jesus. Because we know that Jesus loves us. He died for us. He rose again for us. He did all that so that we could live. That is why we believe in that. How do we know that in all this chaos, everything is going to be all right? How do we know that we have a brighter future ahead of us? It's because God calls us His children. And God is our Father. And He cares for us. And He provides for us. Because our God is a God who has authority over the past, present, and future. So as we live in these times of uncertainty, let's remember the relationship that we have with the one who loves us and cares for us. God is for us. and God knows us by name. Now, speaking of names, we are looking for a catchy name for this video that you're watching right now. The small group Bible study videos. Think of a good name for these videos. If you have any good ideas, leave them in the comments below. And if yours gets selected, we're going to send you a small prize for you to enjoy. You don't believe me? Well, blessed are those who believe without seeing. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the comments. Have a nice week.